Wuthering Waves is a strange case. By most financial and community metrics, it is a massive success, but its launch back in 2024 was a complete unmitigated catastrophe. So how does a game that starts out fundamentally broken end up with one of the most loyal and dedicated player bases in the entire gacha market? The answer, I think, has very little to do with the game itself and everything to do with the developer Kuro Games. They have cultivated this reputation for being the listening developer. Devs listen. A company that actually cares about and acts on player feedback. And today we're going to put that reputation to the test by deconstructing two of the biggest crises in the game's short history: its disastrous launch and its incredibly controversial first anniversary. We will look at the specific repeatable playbook that Kuro uses to handle failure. We will treat this as a case study in how a developer forged an almost unbreakable bond with its community by mastering the art of the apology. And that story begins with one of the worst video game launches in recent memory.
Let me introduce you to LD Shop, a formal game top-up platform developed by the trusted LD Player Emulator Group, guaranteeing safety and reliability for your in-game purchases. LD Shop offers unbeatable prices on Wuthering Waves Lunites and other in-game items like the Lunite subscription or Battle Pass. You can easily compare their prices, which help you save up to 25%. This means more polls, more resources, and more power for your favorite resonators. Now let's talk about the top-up process. For Wuthering Waves top-up, you need to provide your game UID and password to LD Shop's secure system. It is crucial that you do not log into the game yourself during this recharge process. Once completed, they will securely log out and clear all login records. For maximum account security, they even recommend changing your password after completion, which is a great practice. This ensures a smooth and secure transaction every time. It is 100% safe, and there is no account that got banned until now. Buying your Kuro account here would help completing the top-up quicker. It is streamlined, efficient, and you will see your Lunites or subscriptions appear in your account in no time. And here is something awesome for all of you watching. If you're a new user and you register using my special link, you will get a fantastic 15% off coupon. That is a massive saving of up to $50 on your Wuthering Waves top-ups, letting you grab more Lunites for less. Plus, keep an eye out for an exclusive 5% off bonus you might activate just for being a first-time user. And for those dedicated rovers who want to keep pushing their limits, if you spend over $80 in 1 month on LD Shop, you can claim a free Lunite subscription just for topping up what you normally would. Make sure to claim it on the LD Shop homepage. So if you're looking for a secure, affordable, and efficient way to top up your Wuthering Waves account and get those crucial Lunites or a subscription using my link in the description, LD Shop is the way to go. Now let's get back into the video.
When Wuthering Waves launched globally in May of last year, it went beyond a rocky start into fundamentally broken territory for many players. We are talking severe performance problems, crippling lag and crashes on both PC and mobile, game-breaking bugs that would reset boss fights halfway through. The general lack of polish made it feel like we are playing a beta version of the game. For most live service games, this is a death sentence. You don't typically get a second chance to make a first impression, and this impression was definitely memorable. For all the wrong reasons. It's the kind of launch that kills a game before it can find its footing. But then, instead of the corporate silence we have come to expect, Kuro did something different. Their response was immediate. And when you look at what they did, it really comes down to 3 things. First is the radical transparency. They put out public letters without hiding behind PR speak. The message was simple and direct. We fell short, we messed up, and it was stunningly direct admission of failure. Second, unprecedented generosity. Because apologies are cheap, they backed up their words with action by giving every single player free polls. That's like pretty good polls on the limited character banner. And let's not forget the free 5-star that we got. We also got like 1 million credits or something like that. It was awesome. And this was a tangible compensation for the players' wasted time and frustration. And finally, a clear promise to fix it. Their published roadmap for 𝗖cie𝗽𝗆𝗿𝗵𝗁 went beyond patching bugs. It promised overhauls to the core systems that players were already complaining about. The effect of this response was profound. It saved the game from an early grave and established a kind of pact with the community. This listening developer identity wasn't some marketing slogan. It was earned the hard way, rebuilding trust from the ashes of a failed launch. And that single act set an incredibly high bar for everything that would come next. And this brings us to the first anniversary, the first major test of that pact. By this point, Wuthering Waves was a success. The game was stable, content was flowing, and the community was thriving. Expectations for the anniversary were astronomical, largely because this was the same community that had stuck with the game through its worst moments. They felt a sense of ownership and expected their loyalty to be rewarded. So when the version 2.3 anniversary livestream aired, everyone started doing the math. The numbers didn't quite add up though. The total number of free polls was only slightly more than a standard non-anniversary update, and people were expecting a free 5-star too. So for a game's first birthday, it felt a little cheap. The thing that truly lit the fuse, however, was the anniversary rerun banner. On paper, it sounded great. 10 old 5-star characters were returning, and you can pick which one to pull for. But the community looked at the fine print. The banner still had the standard 80 pull pity, and crucially, the 50-50 system. And for anyone who doesn't play these games for some reason, the 50-50 is basically a coin flip. When you save up enough to be guaranteed a rare character, you only have a 50% chance of it being the one featured on the banner. You could spend weeks saving, hit pity, and still lose. Keeping that system on a celebratory anniversary banner felt predatory. It seemed like a feature designed for whales, the big spenders, instead of a reward for the average loyal player. The community's reaction went beyond negative into a full-blown meltdown, swift, unified, and severe. To understand the anger, you just have to be there. You have to realize it was about more than just free stuff. The core emotion that came up over and over again was betrayal. This was the developer that had built its reputation on being player first. They were generous when they were struggling and needed the players, but now that the game was a success, it looked like they were becoming stingy, acting like the very competitors they had defined themselves against. From the community's perspective, that pact forged in the fire of the launch had just been broken. So with the community in full meltdown mode, what did Kuro do? They opened their playbook and ran it step by step. First and most importantly, they owned it completely. Just days after the disastrous livestream, a formal public apology went out. The language was once again incredibly direct, stating, "We fell short. No excuses, no corporate spin." They even admitted the livestream itself was poorly executed and presented, a total acceptance of fault. And next, just like with the launch, the apology came with receipt. They announced an additional 30 free polls for every player, 10 for each banner type. It was a substantial, tangible action that immediately backed up their words, saying that we hear you and we are sorry. But this is where things got really interesting, because they added a new step to the process that showed an evolution in their philosophy. As the apology went out, rumors spread that this was all a calculated marketing stunt. The theory was that Kuro intentionally announced bad rewards to swoop in later and look like heroes. And instead of ignoring it, Kuro took the unusual step of publicity refuting that rumor. They explained that leaked images showing the extra rewards were from old development builds, not a deliberate scheme. Protecting the integrity of their relationship with players was even more important than just fixing the anniversary. It was like them saying that they messed up, but they are not lying to you. This commitment to accountability continued. Much later in a recruitment speech, a developer openly admitted the anniversary event was, quote, bad, and a mistake they learned from. That is a level of long-term public accountability you almost never see. When you lay it all out, the pattern is unmistakable. The exact same playbook from the launch, just more refined. Acknowledge the failure, compensate the players, and communicate with integrity. This proves their philosophy isn't a fluke they pulled off once they were desperate. It is a deliberate process. So what does this consistent pattern of behavior really tell us? I think it shows that Kuro Games' greatest strength isn't avoiding mistakes. Clearly, they still make pretty big ones. The real strength lies in how they handle those mistakes when they happen. The launch crisis was a story about a developer earning our trust when they were the underdog, with nothing to lose and everything to gain by being humble. It was an incredible start. The anniversary crisis, however, is the more telling story. That was about a successful developer being willing to re-earn that trust. They could have probably weathered the storm and ignored the backlash, but instead, they chose to hold themselves accountable to the very standards they created. And that is why their Devs Listen reputation feels so authentic, far more than a hollow marketing slogan. They have defined themselves most clearly not through their successes, but through how they handle their failures. But you know, I'm curious to hear your perspectives in the comments below. That is all from me, 𝗖cie𝗽𝗆𝗿𝗵𝗁, and I will see you in the next one. Cheers!